I had to look at my other live with this book, what we're reading from tonight, to make sure where we left off at. I need to be better about putting the chapters in the title because I almost skipped a chapter. Oh my gosh. And it's like a juicy one. So we're at chapter 5 now, and I'm going to go ahead and start reading. Trying to keep people in replay mode in mind. I'm sorry, I do stop to make commentary because of copyright, but I'm going to try to keep the chatting with the chat till the end of it. Let's try to get through chapter 5 at least, maybe 5 and 6. So we left off the end of chapter 4 was when there was a funny quote from Lincoln that said, "I don't like that man's face." And his secretary said, "But he can't help what his face is. He is not responsible for his face." And Lincoln replied, "After 40, every man is responsible for his face." I just think that's so funny. Because I think we all know what he's talking about. It's like the attitude of this person. It's not just the physical experience appearance that he was talking about when it came to not liking that person's face. Mm, and probably that person maybe could have done some shadow work themselves, maybe not. Chapter 5. Let's return now to the difference between feeling, one's ability to value, and mood, one's being overtaken or possessed by an inner feminine content. If a man has a good relationship to his anima, his inner femininity, he is able to feel, to value, and thus to find meaning in his life. Excuse me. If a man is not related to his anima, then he can find no meaning and has no capacity for valuation. So here's a sharp collision between the two kinds of interior experience a man goes through. What the Grail myth is telling us is that in his relationship to the interior feminine, a man should relate to her, that interior woman, on a feeling level and not on a mood level. Parsifal is instructed to relate to Blanchefleur, to his anima, in the feeling sense, which is a noble and useful and creative sense, not in a seductive sense, which is destructive. That's interesting. I'm going to read that again. Parsifal is instructed to relate to Blanchefleur, to his anima, in the feeling sense, which is noble and useful and creative sense, not in a seductive sense, which is destructive. Not to seduce or be seduced, which are forbidden if one is to find the girl, means to not fall prey to a mood. As soon as a man gets into a mood, he has no capacity for relationship, no power to feel, and therefore no capacity for valuation. Any woman knows this. When a man gets into a mood, she might as well just give up for the day or at least the hour because he is just not available. He is not available for relationship when he is in a mood, even a good mood. Good moods are fun, but they are still a form of possession. The goddess Maya, the goddess of illusion, does nothing but evil. Anytime that wooing goddess Maya appears, all reality, all objectivity, all creativity is put to an end. Or, in terms of our myth, if you seduce or are seduced by a fair damsel, the anima, your chances at the grail are finished. Myths and dreams overstate their case, so I don't think one's chance at the grail is gone forever, but it's gone for the time being. If a man is seduced by his anima, if the goddess Maya gets hold of him and weaves her spell, he is done. He cannot think, he cannot function, he cannot relate. He thinks he is doing a great deal and much churning is going on inside him, but he is virtually out of commission until the mood is over or until he sheds it. So that's really interesting. That's kind of describing what is going on to a lot of men right now that are just overtaken by like the images of women on a screen. Excuse me. I didn't take one drink when I was like off up here for 7 minutes. Hey, Jay Hardy. Hi, Javier. Yes. It is, Jungian. You spelled it right, except as instead of a Y, it's a J. It's a funny word. So it's like looks like Jungian. But yes, it's written by Robert A. Johnson, but he's definitely using Jungian psychology. And his name was Carl Jung, just so you know, Carl with a C, and then it's like Jung is how you spell it. You know what happens when a man gets in a mood? Everything is colored by the mood he is in. If he wakes up in the morning on the wrong side of the bed, if the mood has got him, then everything looks bad. He knows before he gets to the morning paper that the stock market is down. He doesn't have to look out the window to tell it is raining. He is sure that all manner of things are wrong, and if they are not wrong, he will make them wrong. He imprints an outer reality the character of this mood in which he is caught. His mood tends to be infectious too, and pretty soon he has his wife and children upset if they are not wise to what is going on. This is particularly true for his wife, for she feels somehow that she is responsible for her husband's bad mood. What have I done? She thinks to herself. The fact that her husband may think she is responsible also does not help her any. How could it? In her anguish, she may do all the wrong things, like assaulting her man with her animus, her masculine side. She feels compelled to break through the mood somehow and find her man and find out what is going on, but of course, it all turns out badly and usually results in a battle royale between the man's moody woman and the woman's angry man. That is the worst kind of fight. Between the feminine side of a man and the masculine side of a woman, because the two are totally possessed. That is when the really dark things happen. But it need not be that way if the woman can remember that it isn't her fault that her man is in such a bad way. His mood is the problem, and if she just retires to the sidelines for a while and stops feeling so guilty, he may come out of it. Of course, like this is talking about like not abusive situations, right? One of the first characteristics of a mood is that it robs us of all sense of meaning. Relatedness isn't necessary if we are to have a sense of meaning or fulfillment. If something is wrong with one's ability to relate, the meaning in life is gone. So, depression is another term for mood. One finds that most of the content of a psychosis is the anima for a man. Most of the content of a psychosis is the anima for a man. It is a flooding, a possession. So, a mood is a little madness, a slight psychosis that overtakes one. Have you ever bought something, then looked at it the next day and said, "What in the world?" This is what a mood can do. For a man, it will get wildly enthusiastic about the new piece of fishing equipment or a new gadget for the boat. The anima seizes upon highly impractical things fishing gear, the latest nylon leaders, luxurious cars, or something like that. This is an anima territory. If you watch, a man simply whips up a storm over this thing, although you know that next week it will be as dead as a mackerel. So much money gets spent. So much energy is lost by moods. I doubt if there was a household around that hasn't shelves piled high with the results of anima attacks of good moods that carry us away. Well, not anymore, Robert A. Johnson, because we're all so poor, we can't do that. I can honestly say my husband doesn't do that. I mean, I guess like I am looking at a big GUN safe. Like if he had it his way, he probably would buy a lot more of those, and he has the collection. But like, I don't feel that it's definitely not something that he's not interested in. And like, if it was a common habit of somebody, yeah, it probably was more common when people could actually be consumers without like worrying about losing their house. People weren't almost 2 months behind on their mortgage because they had a surgery, and, like, it's just, like, so incredibly hard to catch up because everything costs more and keeps costing more, and it keeps shrinking at the same time. The quality keeps going downhill at the same time. Hi to everybody in the chat. I'm gonna try to read from chapter 5, and then after we're done, we'll talk. I might read chapter 6 too, but I do have to stop for copyright reasons. Now, you can't say a man should do this or shouldn't do that. A man can get out his fishing gear on a Saturday afternoon and have a perfectly fine time and be refreshed by it. Then the next Saturday afternoon, he can take out all of his gear and have a perfect anima attack over it. It is not the gear, it is whether or not something has hold of him. It is the anima contamination that makes the difficulty. A man is not master in his own house when he is in a mood. He is being run and is impossible to live with. He is also terribly critical of the nearest woman he can lay hands on. Something in him knows that the woman in him, the interior woman, is dangerous, so he criticizes his wife, of course, since he knows nothing of the inner woman. That's really interesting. So if that man doesn't have a wife, is he just hypercritical of women online? Gornamon told Parsifal he should neither seduce nor be seduced. Not only is one seduced by the anima, he may also try to seduce the anima. When it is said that one is not to seduce his interior fair maiden, I think it means that one must not ask for the good moods. He must not RAPE, his feminine side. He may ask for fulfillment, but he may not ask for the good moods. Here is a differentiation that most people are incapable of until they achieve some psychological understanding. That exuberant, top of the world, bubbling, half out of control mood, which is so often highly prized among men, is a dangerous thing. It too is a seduction. The man has seduced the anima. He has it by the throat and he has said, "You are going to make me happy or else." This is plain seduction. And he pays a big price for it later. For the law of compensation says a depression must come later to reestablish the balance. That's super interesting. That's like some energetic stuff. He pays a big price for it later. The law of compensation says a depression must come later to reestablish the balance. It it almost sounds almost manic to me. Exuberant, top of the world, bubbling, half out of control. Who wants to be half out of control, you know? I'm definitely going to read through the comments when I'm done. I learned a long time ago not to mortgage experience ahead of time. If I'm going to try to get away from it all on Monday, I have to keep my hands off of it or I will wreck it before I get there. That would be a seduction of the anima. If I start wringing some pleasure out of it, especially in advance, I will ruin it. This is an American sport. We think it is our God-given right to be happy in the sense of mood happiness, and it just doesn't work. I know two boys who planned a camping trip gloriously. For days ahead, they planned on how great it was going to be. All the mood characteristics arose. Bits of equipment suddenly became holy grails. They marveled at the sharpness of this knife or the efficiency of that bit of rope. These fellows milked all the happiness out of that experience ahead of time. I found out the day they went to Lake Tahoe, fooled around for half a day, couldn't think of a thing to do, got into the car and came home. There was nothing there. They had seduced the whole life out of it in advance. We Americans demand good moods. We think it is our God given right to reach out and get something out of that went inside us. And this is where we so often get in trouble. For when our expectations are disappointed, we fall into a foul mood instead. Some men try to live in an almost perpetual mood. That is very exhausting. I will never forget the day when it first dawned on me that I didn't have to give way to a mood. This was a revelation. I thought one came down with a mood as one came down with a cold. He just bore it and saved other people as well as he could, but we can do better than that. Yes. This is when you are treating, like looking from the outside in, like you have two minds, right? Like the one that you can't control as easily, that just feels more, and the one that you can look at and be like, okay, why am I feeling this? What am I going to do about it? And really think things through. Okay. It's highly advantageous for a man to know enough and be wise enough so that he can refuse a mood or at least postpone it. One simply does not have to fall prey to one of these vaporous Maya like emanations from the unconscious. A mood creeps up sometimes, and one doesn't know what in the world it is. Things just begin to turn gray. Well, don't accept it. Don't be seduced by it. Don't go down into that quicksand. It is very beguiling and it is so easy just to fall into it, but we don't have to if we know what is happening to us. If a person is ill, he is more subject to moods. His physical strength is not so great, so he is more vulnerable, but still, it is not necessary to fall into a mood. One may not feel well and not be happy. There is no dishonor in this, but we don't have to get into a blue funk and get moody over it, although admittedly, it is more difficult when we are ill. And this is so true. Like, I think, and we are chronically ill, and like, our normal is like to have gut issues and like the horrible food here in our country in the US. Like, they can't set up, I think a lot of people are suffering because of their environment and the food they put in their body, most of all. Sometimes outer circumstances, especially a woman who is out to get a man's goat, make it very hard for a man to stay out of a mood, but it is still the man's responsibility to know what is going on within him so he does not become possessed. A man who has this kind of self knowledge begins to develop ego strength. A man is virtually helpless in his moods because he is a child in the face of his inner woman. He doesn't want psychological knowledge because he wants to be taken care of. It takes a strong man to stand firm against a mood. And this means a man who is freeing himself of his childness, his mother complex. Now we should mention another term, enthusiasm. But there is a fine but important difference between mood and enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm is a beautiful word. In Greek, it means to be filled with God. It is one of the most sublime words in the whole English language. If one is filled with God, a great creativity will flow and there will be a stability about it. If one is filled with anima, one may also feel creativity, but it will probably be gone before nightfall. One must be wise enough to know the difference between God and the anima. Most men aren't. You can't even tell by looking at another person whether he is swept off his feet illegitimately and destructively, or whether there is some of God's laughter welling up through him and is a beautiful thing. We say a person is in a good mood. If we mean he is genuinely happy, this is a noble thing. Laughter is positive and creative unless it comes from a mood. It is a level within the man from which laughter and what seems to be happiness springs and puts its stamp on it. If he is anima possessed at that moment, if he has been seduced by a fair damsel, then there is trouble. But why? Like, I want to know why. One can sense this in a person. If it is a nervous, tense, taut kind of thing, then there is probably a seduction going on, and he will pay for it and very likely make everyone within earshot pay for it too before he is finished. If it has a beautiful quality to it, if he is at ease with it, it is probably a legitimate happiness that is rushing through him. Don't begrudge it to him then. Generally, a mood will run its course in an intelligent man. If a woman doesn't puncture it prematurely, the man will puncture it himself. He will regain a sense of somewhere along the way. He will say, now, wait, maybe we better think about this. That is, if his wife hasn't said it 5 minutes before. Now, dear, don't you think we had better think about this? because then he won't, of course. If a woman is needling, it is doubly hard for a man to come out of a mood. That intensifies it. Oh my goodness. Like as a wife, yeah, like I have a YouTube video on private right now that's like one of my greatest pieces of marriage advice is like go to bed angry. When that old like don't go to bed angry. Like sometimes you need to sleep on it. Sometimes you need to separate and like think about things and like see if you're actually mad about it in a day or two, you know? But once again, like I don't think that's great advice for everybody. That's why it's on private. When, I'm sorry. He needs help, not needling, but feminine help. He probably won't thank you for it, but inside he will be awfully grateful. When a woman has to deal with a man in a mood, she generally does the wrong thing. She generally gets her animus out, that critical thing, and says, now look, this is utter nonsense. Stop it. We don't need any more fish line leader. That is just throwing gasoline on the fire. There will be an anima animus exchange and all will be lost. The two are in the right hand and in the left hand of the goddess Maya, and you might as well give up for the afternoon. There is, however, a point of genius that a woman can bring forth if she is capable of it and willing to do it. If she will become more feminine than a mood attacking the man, she can dispel it for him, but this is a very, very difficult thing for a woman to do. Her automatic response is to let out the sword of the animus and start hacking away. But if a woman can be patient with a man and not be critical, but represent for him a truly feminine quality, then as soon as his sanity is back sufficiently for him to comprehend such subtleties, he will likely come out of his mood. So it's just like the nurturing like qualities that women tend to have, and not all women, but a lot of people describe masculine energy as giving and feminine energy as taking, which I do understand where people are coming from with that, but I think it's like a reciprocal thing, like it goes back and forth between the two all the time. A wife can help a great deal if she will function from her feminine side this way. She has to have a mature femininity to do this, a femininity that is strong enough to stand in the face of this spurious femininity the man is producing. For one thing, the man will very likely be projecting everything onto her and be absolutely sure he is married to a witch that is his bad mood is, and it's all her fault. Maybe she is nagging, but he must reckon with his inner woman instead of with her. It is in the nature of the anima and animus in their primitive form, and that's where most of us are to live in production. So when a man's in a mood, he usually says it to his wife, bedeviling him. If a man's inner woman is on a rampage, he will likely have the outer woman on a rampage, whether she agrees to it or not. On the other hand, if a man is in a good relation to the inner woman, then he gets on well with the outer woman too. For some reason, psychedelics just came to mind. Like if you're in a good place, you'll have a better experience. Okay, a woman is much more in control of her moods. She can use them. She tries them on and sees which one she is going to wear. She will even change in midstream if necessary. A man doesn't have as much control over his moods. In fact, he has almost no control. I'm sorry, many women are masters of the whole feeling department, as few men ever are. Much difficulty arises because a woman presumes that a man has the same kind of control over his mood that she does over hers, but he doesn't. She must understand this and give him time or help him a little bit. So once again, I don't mean this towards like any of my awesome male supporters. I really do love you guys. I have so many men in my life that I love. I don't think that all men are bad, but we're just like pegged as the emotional ones, the overly emotional ones, the too emotional ones. To be in touch with your emotions, to have an array of emotions you can display is emotional intelligence. Of course, like that's not to say like being chaotic and like up and down all the time with your feelings, but women do tend to be more emotionally intelligent. Men aren't going to catch up until we stop with the bullshit of like women are the more emotional ones. Men commit 91% of violent crimes. Like, how is that not bad emotions playing part? Why is anger and aggression not considered when people point the finger at the woman for being the overly emotional one? Because men do have a lot of anger and aggression. I know women do too sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Like, women can be everything bad. I get it. Let's see. Women have to deal with this exotic creature called the male of the species. Should be easy on him when he is in a mood because he is nearly helpless in the face of it. He needs help. If there is one rule that that should be understood in marriage, it would be that when a man is falling into a mood, the woman should withhold all judgment and criticism for the moment if she possibly can. Then, later, when the man is himself again, they may be able to discuss together what was bothering him so much. Waiting like this is hard for a woman to do, of course, but if she remembers that the mood is basically his problem and not her fault, then she can usually find the wisdom to wait for the right moment to see what the problem is. As for the man, he cannot realistic okay, I wanna pause. And I think that is great advice. I really do think that is great advice. If you married somebody, like, once again, like, not talking about abusive situations, if you married somebody, you need to, like you shouldn't marry somebody that you look down on in any way. Like, whenever my parents got separated and they would talk crap about each other, I'm like, "What? You're just making your own self look dumb," you know? Like, you were married to this person. You chose to have children with this person. Like, you should be proud of who you're with, and you should keep that like, keep all the good qualities of their character in the forefront of your mind whenever you're going through something, just be like, yeah, and being able to give space when you're living with somebody is so incredibly important. As and especially when it comes to the way men have been socialized and how difficult it can be for them to be vulnerable, like, it's really important to not just, like, give them a space and act like, "Oh, you're in a mood, that's weird," but to, like, let them know that you're there and you want to be there. As for the man, he cannot realistically expect ever to succumb to a mood, but he can remember, even when he is possessed by it, that he is being taken over by something. A man is in partial control if he can just say to himself, I'm having an anima attack. If he can also say that to his wife, I'm in a bad mood, it's not your fault, just leave me alone for a little while. Then he will do her a big favor, and that very act will begin to free him, for the battle is half won as soon as a man recognizes that it is a mood which is possessing him. And as a woman with PCOS, I said those sentiments to my husband a lot, and like a lot of it had to do with physical pain. I'd be like, I know I'm not in a good mood. Like I'm gonna be like sarcastic and bitchy because like I don't feel well, and yeah, just stay away from me for now. Parsifal and Blanchefleur are examples of the whole matter going rightly. Blanchefleur is the ultimate of beauty and inspiration for Parsifal. Nothing goes wrong for these two. This is the ideal anima relationship. So if you want to learn how to get on with that curious inner feminine quality, study the relationship of Parsifal and Blanchefleur. She is his lady. He does everything from here on in the myth for her. Goethe came to the astounding observation late in his life that the province of man is to serve woman. Then she will serve him. That's the submission thing I keep talking about. In my last live earlier tonight, Sadia Khan is like focusing on like women need to submit to men. Women need to, it's always like this pointing the finger at women. We have gone out and got in our own, like we have done what we have done because of men committing 91% of the violent crime. No, I'm not saying all men, okay? And I know there's people going through separations and divorce that weren't violent to their women, that meant not even deserve it at all. And like, I don't mean to like paint a picture of like all men all the time, but it does go both ways, and we risk so much as women, and that's that giving energy I was talking about. Masculine is giving. You give and get, and it's like kind of like we're turning on our heads here. Like men complain about women becoming more masculine. It's like a natural process that's happening to us. It's not all our fault. Um, yes, Tone Champ, I agree. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna finish reading and then I'm gonna get in the chat a lot. I might read one more chapter after this. This is almost done. Goethe came to the astounding observation, I'm going to read that again. Late in life, that the province of man is to serve woman, then she will serve him. Then he was talking about the inner woman, the muse. She is the carrier of the beauty, the inspiration, the delicacy of the whole feminine side of life. It is beautiful, each serving the other back and forth. Well, I believe it's true, in real people to people relationships too. I've been reading a rash of articles lately on the new feminism that disturbs me because so much of it is woman demanding to come out of her traditional feminine role of serving man. She is coming out of her slavery. In some respects, this is necessary, but in others respects, it could be nearly fatal. Each should serve the other. This is the ideal. We can't do without it. One cannot live without the service, without the love, without the nurturing and strength of the other. Each should serve the other. This is the ideal. We can't do without it. One cannot live without the service, without the love, without the nurturing and the strength of the other. That is so beautifully said. Parsifal understands this, and he makes a correct relationship with Blanchefleur. He is devoted to her. He lies with her head to head, toe to toe, but he does not seduce her, nor is he seduced by her. He is strengthened by her. He is devoted to her. He serves her. He is close to her. There is no prohibition against the closeness to one's interior feminine. The closer, the better. But there must be this fine differentiation. No seduction or the grail is lost. Parsifal succeeds in this. So what do you guys think that means really when they're like talking about like you need to get in touch with your inner feminine, but you can't be seduced by it? Is this just like not becoming an over sex individual. Let's see how many pages are in chapter 6. That was kind of a long one, as so is chapter 6. And then I feel like I could probably finish it in one night, but we're gonna have a separate video that's like just discussing this book once I'm done with the book. Well, I think I'll go ahead and stop, guys. I'm sorry. It's 11:25. I'm like all hyped up. But so I'm done reading the book. If you're here for this video for the book, I'm going to be chatting with people in the live. And I don't know how to keep my live chats up. Like, I'm assuming it's something that I'll get when I get bigger. I don't know. But like, I would leave my live chats up on some lives if I had the possibility. I just don't even know how. Yoder said, I see it as sickness and health no matter what, sex or not. Yes. It's it's really interesting to me that I should know the exact years Carl Jung was alive. I'm so obsessed with him. That in the early 1900s, what, like 1920s, 30s, 40s, somewhere around that time period, there was this talk of like the inner feminine. When you think even more so, men were socialized to like not be feminine, but then the more you learn about history, it's like pink used to be actually like for boys. It was like more of a masculine color. Like baby boys and girls would wear gowns because it just makes sense. Like it just makes sense and for so many reasons. And I almost feel like yeah, people played their traditional gender roles more so, but like like the makeup and the hair and the wigs and like we've always had like these trends we tended to share and like was that part of men getting in touch with their inner and I know it doesn't have to oh my gosh, I hate it when people like make being a woman into like makeup and high heels. I don't mean to do that, but um it just makes me wonder if men ever were in touch with their inner anima, or is it like something that at the beginning of the cycle when things were more ideal, or in the middle of the cycle when things are really ideal, then men are really in touch. And like it makes sense that things are the way that they are now, and men are completely out of whack and out of touch. And the same thing with women. Women are completely out of whack and out of touch. And oh, thank you, Mr. Carey. Yeah, that was a pretty long chapter. And I was having fun talking to you guys on the other chat, and I feel bad, but I'm glad I got 2 videos in tonight. Okay, Alwyn, I'll read that. I don't know if you like riddles, but I have one. If you own a car, you're a car owner. If you own a house, you're a home owner. But if you own the mob, what are you? I'm trying to think, is that a bad word to say out loud? I don't know, Alwyn. That's a good riddle. Can you I give up. Does anybody have the answer to Alwyn's riddle? Yoder said, yes, all my nephews wear gowns still, up till about 2 to 3 diaper changing, and they're way more in touch with being a family person. Jay Hardy, Jay Hardy, I really appreciate you. That's too much. Oh, I almost deleted it. I said that's too much, and then I almost deleted it or did something. Oh my gosh, it would have been so awful. Thank you. Um, I can't tell you how much it means to me to like get support, to get people in my chat, like 18 people, that's huge. Like anytime there's more than literally one or two, even one or two people is great. I don't mean like that, but like I like it is really like dreams coming true, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys. Yeah, Mr. Carey is very nice of Jay Hardy. And yeah, and I know I kind of feel bad about not reading another chapter, Jay. Is it okay if I call you Jay? I think I've asked you that before. I, oh my gosh, I always do weird things. I can't wait to get a computer. I think it will be easier to interact with the chat. Anybody here that doesn't know, like my goal is to by the end of the year have screen share. We're going to have the internet and right now I'm on my phone, but I can't wait to use a computer and I can screen share with you guys. Like the Sadia video I did earlier would be so much more fun if we could like screen share as we're talking about it. Having nice people that actually care is wonderful, Yoder said. Yes, it is. It makes all the difference. Speaking of which, I wonder about Tim. I still think about Tim. He was the guy that would come into the chat a lot talking about being depressed. And I know somebody's going to say it could be a troll. I get that. I take everything with a grain of salt. But at the same time, I mean, if somebody does something like it forms patterns doing something, like, I don't know, I've never had anybody else really troll like that, so I hope he's well. Hey, John Henry. Aw. Thanks. Well, Jay Hardy's very sweet and supportive, I appreciate him so much, and, I hope that I'm helping to give back. I almost feel bad taking people's money, honestly. I'm like not putting well, I did put a lot of effort into this, actually. I shouldn't say that. I spent quite a few hours today writing that script, 3 or 4, and not that you guys aren't worth it, but that's what I want to do. I want to make more like scripted, like sharing facts with you guys. And Jay Hardy has given me some good suggestions, and any suggestions from subscribers, I especially if you're gonna be throwing money at me, I'm definitely gonna, like, take it into consideration at least. But, yeah. And date night, oh, thanks, Jay Hardy. Mr. Carey, yep, you don't a lot of lives and time on your channel. Oh, done. Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, because it is easy, you know what I mean? It's easy compared to an edited video, but again, like, I understand why some people don't like to go live. Diamond made a video tonight. She's so sweet. I watched her video a few hours ago. She was talking about why she doesn't like doing YouTube lives, but I felt bad for her because she said her family doesn't support her, and that made me feel awful because she's just the sweetest, and yeah, I just feel bad for people that don't have support at home for whatever, whatever it is. Oh, thank you, Yoder. Hi, Sam. How are you? I already read one chapter from this book and I'm all done reading. So if you're interested in that, you might want to rewind. But we are like halfway through it. We're well over halfway through it. I just get so excited when when I get near. That's another thing. If your attention span is short, oh my gosh, this is 84 pages, 86 pages. It really is easy to read. I love Diamond's voice too, Yoder. I know. But yeah, she was making me laugh. She's like, and she's one of those people, she just says stuff. Oh, like, oh, it's so funny. She's like, I never know when a family member or a cat is gonna get in the way. And that just made me laugh. I'm like, she has lots of cats. But yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's a good example of like we've got a lot of people in Kentucky, like Diamond, and just good people that would do anything for the people in their lives. I think they deserve support. Mr. Carey. Well, you guys, I feel like I don't have much to say now. Like that's the biggest super chat I've ever gotten, Jay Hardy. I appreciate you so much. Um, is Diamond in here? She's not in here, Mr. Carey. I was just bringing her up. I watched one of her videos she put out today. Diamond does a great job. Like, if I could be more like her, that would be great. And if she keeps the content rolling out, like, she does a great job with that. And then Carrie is singing his hilarious Apple Fair songs. Yeah, and your voice. I mean, your face is so funny, Mr. Carey, when you do the funny songs. I don't see it either. I was tricking you. Okay, Vapcap. I'm going camping in Kentucky this weekend. It is beautiful. Oh, Vapcap, do you know where you're going? I've always wanted to go to Red River Gorge. I haven't went yet, though. But you're perfect as you, Spangled Stew said. Oh, that's very sweet. Yes, I think that is true. For everybody. I got another song by Big and Rich. Mr. Carey said, you just uploaded it? I need to start putting notifications on. I know I can put my phone on do not disturb, but when I was working second shift, I just like refused to put the bell on or like I don't have notifications on in my settings for YouTube. So like the bell, and anyways, I need to start doing that for some people because it makes me feel bad when I miss a bunch of stuff. I got oh, I wrote that. A place called Land Between the Lakes. I know I've heard that before. That's nice, Babcap. I hope you have fun. I hope it's good weather. I hope it's everything good. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. No, not uploaded. Oh, that's cool, Mr. Carey. Yoder, prayers for me, Doc, tomorrow with the evil Red River of Death. Let's see how the gay dog likes the string and all. Okay, yes. Think good thoughts for Anna. Let's think really good thoughts. She has a doctor's checkup since first checkup since she had surgery, and definitely Anna. Save a horse, grab a Titus, Mr. Carey. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make fun of somebody so bad. Yoder, Land O'Lakes between Kentucky and Tennessee. Yes, I've been there. I was gonna say in Tennessee. I thought it was in Tennessee, but I didn't want to sound stupid. Okay, so that makes sense. There's so many beautiful I know a lot of them are man-made, but there's a lot of beautiful lakes in Kentucky. Mm, Lake Cumberland is an hour away, um, maybe a little more, but we need to go there. I need to show you guys the dam there, and they have, like, a is that where they have all the fish? You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Carey? When we were looking for houses around here, and it's just so funny to me, like, people ask, like, "What is there to do with kids?" And they're like, "Oh, it's just, like, where they farm fish or something." Anyways, I'm being boring now, I can tell. Cat, make sure you go high up in the hills to the top of the old grapes and settlement. Oh, that sounds neat. You don't know what I'm talking about, Mr. Gary. I have some deer bacon thawing out in the fridge. I'm gonna show you guys what that's like because we never had deer bacon until we got it from Mr. Carey Showalters. And I never even knew about deer bacon. Jay Hardy, thank you. Life hack dad says, Lex here. How are you doing, Lex? Jay Hardy, you're making me almost make as much as I would in a shift at the factory. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I would be able to oh, in Lexington. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I thought you were telling me your name is Lex. Oh, that's what happens when you've been online for a few hours reading. I get it. That's nice. Lexington is so nice. Oh my gosh, you guys. You have no idea if you've never been to like the Lexington, oh, the most beautiful there's, like, tons of black fences there's just this thing with farms around there, they like their black fences, it's so beautiful against the green grass, and a lot of them are white too, but there's just, like, so sprawling horse farms, I love Lexington, I've DoorDashed and Instacarted a lot around there, and, what is by Lexington? All that whatever, Nicholasville, Georgetown, whatever. They only came down in spring and summer to buy supplies as winter wouldn't allow the horses and stuff to go down with ice. Oh, that's so neat. I love old settlements. Spring Mill in Indiana, that is a really neat old settlement. Oh, it is so neat and that's what, in my opinion, we need to get back to. Oh, I found some really cool homesteaders. It's these two friends, two female friends that made a tiny house out of a shed. They did a great job too. They did such a good job. They have a separate bathhouse, and they've got a great garden and some chickens, and it's it's the only alternative. I can't think of any other way that we can gain our power back as people who are just getting everything siphoned off of us, and like we're gonna end up like, I hate to put that out there. I know that a lot of us are struggling right now, but it's just really unfortunate that what they're doing in these times of crises for so many people in regards of homelessness and like making it even harder for people who are homeless is absolutely evil. And one of the only answers to it, and I posted a video the other day on my page on YouTube from Alexandra Fasulo. I love her so much. Is for us to start some intentional communities, for us to think outside the box, like, yeah, houses are too unaffordable for most people, but what can we do about it? What are the alternatives? I know that when we threw in some flooring, insulation, drywall, and a shed, we definitely got more out of it than we put into it. And I'm not suggesting that like but at least we added a home, I mean, an off-grid home without utility. But still, if you do it right and you actually add the utilities right, like we will next time, you're not just like taking from people, like you're adding a home that's like going to actually be affordable. There are a lot of tiny homes for sale. I see so many of them around $100,000. Sometimes they'll be more around 200,000 because they come with a lot of land. But still, there's like plenty if you are willing to live that way, if you can. Not all of us can, right? You have two or three kids, it's going to be a lot harder. But there are, a lot of people doing it here. I see it. I see a lot of people in houses with like 2, 3 RVs. The slides are pulled out. It's just, in my opinion, it looks like people are probably living in the RVs. Like we should all be doing that. In my opinion, or a lot more people should be that have land, that have a little bit of space. And RVs come with them a host of problems. I think that they're probably like temporary shelters at best in most situations, especially in hot weather, cold weather, but still, like, and just oh, it makes me so sad to think about. Levitating hay wave. Oh, Pigeon. Hey, how are you doing? I didn't see you in here. How are you? I'm doing good. Yoder said this is like ski hill steep. The buffalo are there, but then you go up with a map to each home. Oh, wow. That sounds so neat. I know there's some like ghost towns in the Smoky Mountains too. Oh, that would be so cool. I have a thing for old houses. It's a good thing that I'm as paranoid as I am, or I probably would be an urban explorer by now, but because of like all the like possible asbestos dust and stuff like that, and like falling through a floor, I've never done it, but I would love I live vicariously. Good night, Jay Hardy. I hope you have a great night and I see you soon. And thank you again, sincerely. Like I think you know it means a lot to me. It's not just the money, it's like the thought behind it and the support. I really do appreciate you. And I hope you sleep well. And Yoder said, at Jay Hardy, sleep well. Thank you for everything. Yes. But yeah, oh, I already lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was saying. Jay Hardy, take care and have a safe night, Mr. Carey said. Yes, everybody. Oh, yeah, Yoder. I was saying we're going to think good thoughts for Yoder for the doctor tomorrow. We're going to think good thoughts for Jay Hardy to sleep good. And everybody, not just him, but everybody. But since he's going to sleep, hope you sleep well. Never forget to smile. Okay, take care, John. Oh, I won't. I won't. My whole life, I've had people ask me if my cheeks are sore and stuff like that. I've always like, it's kind of it's been like a coping thing sometimes. It's not always like, sometimes it's an anxiety thing. But yeah, I think I am about ready to sign off of here, you guys. I know Pigeon just got in here. How are you, Pigeon? I I definitely will be done with this by the end of the week. Like, if anything, I'm going to read this to you tomorrow. And I'm just trying to catch up with my new schedule, so I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I hope I see you guys tomorrow. Um, love you guys. Bye.